What's going on, guys? MurderInc here, back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today I want to do a champion spotlight on Sandlashed Survivor. Here we have an orc champion, defense-based, epic, one of the newer ones, really cool kit, so let's get right into it. For her A1, it attacks one enemy 2 times, has a 30% chance of placing a provoke debuff on one target if this champion has no debuffs, heals by 15% of the damage inflicted if this champion is under any debuff. Defense-based skill. The A2 attacks all enemies, decreases the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn, increases the duration of all ally buffs. Also defense-based. This is huge, 3-turn cooldown. You can already say this could be great for clan boss. Now let's take a look at the passive. Born Survivor places a 50% ally protection buff on all allies for 2 turns. When any ally's HP drops below 50%, also places a block damage buff on this champion for 2 turns. So in a sense here we have a champion like Skull Crusher without a counterattack, but instead of unkillable, which can definitely hurt Skull Crusher's value, since if he goes into the next round, it's really important he heals back up to full health. This champion provides a block damage, meaning no damage will get through, so regardless of how much damage they do take from the ally protection, they will always have what they started with, which is awesome to see. As far as an aura, she has a increased ally defense in all battles by 25%. So this is another case where if we do want to talk about clan boss, she can be used as the leader aura instead of someone like a Tyrell, Alton, someone who, unless you have a cleanse champion, can really put them in jeopardy by having them as leader, because this can make your attack down fall off on the boss. The gear I chose to put on this champion today is 2 sets of speed, 1 set of immortal. Total stats are 36,000 health, 4,700 defense, 187 speed, 103 crit, 170 crit damage, and 171 accuracy. For masteries, I elected not to go with a clan boss build. I chose more of a dungeon build for this. I think she can be really strong for anyone from early game all the way through end game who's really struggling through content. This champion has incredible survivability skills as well as utility to ensure the rest of your team survives. He is also spirit affinity, which is not a very common affinity to have, so she can absolutely help you in the right situation. What I want to do now is I want to take her into a dungeon and kind of get a damage check on her and see. From her kit, we can kind of see how good she is as far as utility goes and survivability. Let's just see what kind of an added bonus she can add to your team as far as damage goes. Let's give her a shot in Dragon 19 since she has equal affinity, not a weak affinity, as opposed to Dragon 20. Alright, so let's start off here with Arbiter. Do have it on 1 time to kind of, I guess in a way, showcase the damage. Alright, so right off the bat, let's try to go for a provoke on whatever this champion's name is. Alright, we didn't get it. 30% chance, not huge, so. Alright, so we ended up getting resisted there. You hate to see it. Alright, now we'll get to see the A3 or the A2 and the sands and how much damage it can actually do. So not an incredible amount of damage. I didn't really build her for full damage, but her main use is definitely going to be a support role. So now we will throw it on auto and watch this team in action. One thing that's great about her kit, as we just saw there, decreased buff duration by 1 turn. This can be very, very strong when progressing, like I've already said. Some of these waves in all the dungeons have really nasty buffs they can put on that can really hinder your run and even prevent you from progressing for that matter. So it's really nice to see a champion like this, as well as the added value she can have to your team. One thing to keep in mind, that if you are using her as a leader for your team, she will not proc the passive if the damage is done to her. That's very important to know right off the bat. Much more ideal if you can coordinate buffs to where she's not the one being targeted. That way the ally protection and block damage can proc. Not enough damage was done there. Did build this team a bit tanky, so hopefully we'll get to see something. Also doesn't help that I elected to use the new shaman in this team, who, as we know, does a ton of healing. Probably not the best layout to use to showcase this champion, but overall we can kind of get the basic idea on what she has to offer. Let's see if we can get this shared damage to proc here. Again, too tanky. Alright, so outside of her dungeon benefit, let's go over clan boss really quickly, and let's see what Endless Sands can do for your team. You're pairing this champion with someone who has a very typical 4-turn cooldown, which lots of champions do. To think of it off the top of my head, we have Lightsworn, Steel Skull with the defense up, Alton, the new Battle Pass legendary, Wirlim, who has a strengthen, and personally I think she's going to be an amazing pair with Wirlim. So let's get into Endless Sands. Endless Sands not only decreases the duration of all buffs by 1 turn, but increases the duration of all ally buffs by a turn as well. Another benefit the Sandslash survivor can have with her A2 is if you're looking to place threat on a certain champion and you want to ensure they get slammed every single round, you can use this before the stun round on the clan boss to extend the buffs on all of your champions, equalizing the threat, making them always pick your leader. I know often, since I've been doing takeovers a lot especially, you have to organize your champion so whoever you want stunned burns through the buffs before it reaches the slam phase, so they're always targeted. If not, it can target a critical character in your lineup that can essentially ruin your entire key. What this allows is, not only does it extend any type of survivability benefit that the buffs offer, but it can also give an even playing field and have the aura champion have the most threat on the team. With that being said, the final place and area of the game that I really saw her shine, and I was actually shocked to see it, was Arena. Not only does she have the provoke potential, but as we can read here, the A2 decreases the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn, increases the duration of ally buffs by 1 turn. So obviously you don't want her going before any type of major buffer on your team. But the passive is the real talking point here. Now with Rhodos being a very common champion that's used, it is unfortunate she has green affinity. She will be targeted. There is no Veil buff, but I've actually seen this work very well with someone like a Duchess or anyone who can steal threat from Rhodos. I've seen Rhodos try to one-shot someone and this passive literally saved the whole team's life. So this can be extremely strong. As far as early game arena, mid game arena, I think she also provides an incredible amount of utility with this passive here. This can save your team, give you a chance to have another turn, retaliate, and wipe out the enemy team easily. Alright guys, that's it for my spotlight. Overall, I think this is a great champion that has been added to the game. Some of the more recent champions just offered 1 or 2 things. I think she absolutely offers quite a bit with her 2-hit A1, higher chance of proccing War Master, giving her a little more value in clan boss as far as raw damage goes, and being able to proc the mastery. The A2 we've already seen decrease enemy buff and increase ally buff. That's very strong. Also being on a 3-turn cooldown, which is exactly what you want for the clan boss. On top of having a defense in all battles aura, the passive I think is extremely strong for the game. Since the start, I really did want to see an ally protection champion that offered a block damage instead of a unkillable, as the point I mentioned before, where the unkillable puts the person in question at a very low health once damage starts to ramp up. This allows the champion to have full health, so awesome to see. It is a 4-turn cooldown once it's booked. Outside of that, as always, thanks a ton for the support. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this content. Let me know what other champions you want to see. I do plan on doing in a best champion spotlight. I do also want to talk about the rare Coffin Smasher. I've been streaming about him for about 2 weeks now. Probably the best rare in the game. I think a lot more people should know about him. Those are my plans so far. Let me know what you think. Till next time, peace out.